Hey, what's up, guys? Blood Moon Bobby here, and in case you're wondering where I've been the past week, just been really busy. I've been doing a lot of public relations related things for my newspaper, kind of threw myself into a campaign to improve relations with students, and yeah, so that's where I've been. And I've also been looking into how I can report on the Olympics without getting into a lot of trouble. In case you don't know, I've actually pretty much been a lifelong fan of the Olympics. I started watching like around the Salt Lake City in 2002 and Athens 2004 time, which Athens 2004, that was where I was first introduced to Michael Phelps and became a fan. But I really didn't like get into it really consistently until Beijing 2008. And nowadays I've started becoming a lot more fascinated with the business and history aspects of the game. So I wanted to get into that. Unfortunately, there is a lot of legal confusion that comes with reporting on the games and so forth. And for a time, I didn't even think I would be able to cover it until very recently. I talked to my college professor about it, and he recommended I talk to the this very experienced journalist, Alan Abramson. He runs the blog Three Wire Sports. He talks about the Olympics and other international events, and yeah, he's been to 10 Olympic Games. He used to work for the LA Times, and I think he also used to work for NBC. So so he basically told me that I can cover the games, but I have to be really sure that it's good journalism, which this is pretty much going to be. I will say, compared to the other topics I talk about on Blood Moon Bobby, I'm gonna be treating the Olympics in a more or subtle, kind of more professional way. So don't expect me to get super jokey in these kind of videos. So, yeah, so it's going to be more professional, but it's still going to be a lot of fun. And in this video, I'll be covering the Tokyo 2020 torch relay, which, me personally, really excited that the Olympics are coming back to Tokyo. And so, yeah, in this video, we're going to be talking about the initial details we had on the torch relay. I mean, yes, this is a video that's a long time coming, but it's still really relevant. So, without further ado, let's check out the details on the Tokyo 2020 torch relay. Hey guys, Blood Moon Bobby here, and you might be wondering, why am I starting to cover Olympic stories? So, I'll give you a little introduction. So, I've actually been a fan of the Olympics since I was a kid. I mean, my parents really tried to get, my mom in particular, tried to get me into watching this worldwide event that brings people together. And it's funny, I was born in '96. I think I was actually born, right, let me double check. '96, that was the Atlanta Olympics. Sadly, I have no memory of that. I mean, literally, I was just born that year. I've seen Muhammad Ali light the torch, and that was really amazing. But let me double check that. Atlanta '96. No, that was in July, so it happened right after I was born. So sadly, no memory of that. The first Olympics that I actually have at least some sort of conscious memory was the Salt Lake City Olympics in 2002, and then I saw parts of Athens 2004. That was actually the first time I was introduced to Michael Phelps and became a fan of his, and then pretty much after Beijing 2008, that was when I started watching the Olympics on a consistent basis. But the funny thing is, like, I've always been a fan. I even had this fan fiction idea of making like a Nintendo Olympics fan fiction or a Disney XD Olympic fan fiction, and I would literally set up the host city 7 years in advance, just like the real Olympics. But it wasn't until recently that I was doing research for that I started becoming really invested in both the history, the business, and the news aspect of the Olympics. So you're going to be hearing me talk about that quite a bit going forward. So let's actually start today with a story on the Olympics that's right around the corner, and that is Tokyo 2020. And they just announced some details on the the torch relay. And so they didn't give everything. They said that it will start in Olympia, Greece, as every Olympic torch relay does, and it will come to Japan. But the details of where it's going in Japan, or at least some of them, were announced today. And they are calling this torch relay Hope Lights Our Way, or basically it's a way to show how Japan rose following the Tohoku earthquake in 2011. And by the way, I should point out, even though I'm part Japanese, I might butcher some of these names, so if I pronounce them incorrectly, please let me know. So some details is that it's going to spend 3 days each in the Fukushima, Iwate, and Miyagi prefectures, which were the three prefectures that were hit the hardest in the earthquake. And it will also spend 3 days in each of the four prefectures hosting competitions in the 2020 Olympics, and they are Chibi, Kanagawa, Saitama, and Shizuoka. And it will spend 15 days in the Tokyo metropolitan area. So when you do the map, and also regional and national landmarks in Japan, the torch will visit regional and national landmarks in Japan, throughout Japan, before reaching Tokyo. And so I did the math, and that's about 36 days. So that's not quite the length of an entire torch relay, so that's pretty much up to speculation. More details on where the torch relay will begin and how it will get to Japan will be announced soon. And so basically the details on like where the torch is going in Japan, I think is really cool. It's really nice to see that. Interestingly enough, I was thinking, well, the Tohoku earthquake, that was in 2011. That was a long time ago. But according to USA Today, 70,000 people remain displaced from their communities. So, yeah, it's a much bigger disaster than you may think. And interestingly enough, some of the baseball and softball events will be in the Fukushima prefecture, which, as you may know, is where there were meltdowns at the Fukushima nuclear power plant when the earthquake struck. I mean, obviously, nobody's in danger. It's a nod to say, hey, this place was hit by the earthquake, and things are getting better. So, I definitely really like the plans about where the torch is going when for the 2020 Olympics. It kind of reminds me, this is a disaster on another level. I believe when the torch, as you may know, the last time Tokyo hosted the Olympics was 1964, and when it got to Japan, it touched down in Hiroshima, which is where, as you know, one of the atom bombs was dropped. And, that's where it went from Hiroshima, went around Japan, and before reaching the Tokyo Olympic Stadium. And it also passed through Mount Fuji back then. They didn't say if they're going to pass through Mount Fuji, but who knows, maybe they will. And I saw footage from the Tokyo 1964 torch relay in the documentary Tokyo Olympiad, a really renowned documentary, and I think you guys should check that out. And something that I should mention that I saw in the documentary, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to put footage in this video because the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, is really strict in terms of how you use their properties, so I'm not going to tangle with that just to get, not only a copyright takedown, but I could also be banned from covering the Olympics. Is that for the 1964 torch, it left Olympia where it got lit, but it actually passed through several countries in Central Europe and Asia before coming to Japan. Like, it passed through Istanbul, Turkey, it passed through Iran, it passed through Hong Kong, and before touching down in Japan. So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to do something similar, and I honestly, I actually really like that idea for the 1964 Olympics, that it passed through like, I don't know, it's kind of like, I guess I could say it was kind of a more naturalistic. I know that's not the best word to use, but it took its time getting to Japan rather than just, get on a plane and we're taking you to Hiroshima so you can start the torch relay. Although according to the documentary, it looks like it came to Okinawa first, um, and then they flew the torchbearer to Hiroshima. So yeah, so I'm kind of wondering if they're gonna do something like that. And it would honestly be a really interesting mix, especially with the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. They're building it up as a, honoring the history of the Tokyo 1964 Olympics, but also looking forward to the future. I kind of wonder, that would be really interesting if they could do a thing where they started in Olympia and then it makes its way around Europe and Asia, or, well, Japan is technically part of Asia, but, like passing through, like places like China, and when it gets to Japan, then it takes the more modern route, honoring, the victims of the 2011 earthquake. So, but we'll have to see. I mean, when those details are announced. So that's about it for now. I mean, I can definitely say I'm really pumped for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and where it's going. I know, like, construction, particularly on the National Stadium, was kind of rocky, and they had to change plans so that it would be cheaper to build. But I am hearing they're getting back on track. So definitely looking forward to it. There's definitely going to be more announcements since those games are still 2 years away from now. Like, we're still waiting to hear about things, not just about the torch, but also, maybe we'll get more details on more venues, and also even down to the Olympic mascots, which me and my sister, we really like. They announced the mascots, and you can go look for images on Google, and I'm just wondering, what if they called the pink one the Paralympic mascot Sakura? For you Naruto fans out there, would you be cool with that? Because I'm just wondering, if they call her the pink mascot Sakura, will Naruto fans flip their lid? But I don't know. But when they announce the names for the mascots, I'll have those details. So this begins my Olympic coverage. I'm going to be covering Olympic history and news, and so. Before I wrap up, I should also point out that I did try to create a Olympic. I wanted to create a Olympic, a dedicated Olympic Twitter and social media pages, but the IOC does not allow that, so you'll just have to hear about it here. But obviously, if you read the title, you'll know if I'm talking about the Olympics or if I'm talking about my more usual cartoon and tech topics. So that's about it. Looking forward to Tokyo 2020, and thus begins my Olympic news and history coverage. This has been Blood Moon Bobby, and I will see you guys later. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.